Hey, my name is Kaitlin, and I'm not sure if anybody on YouTube remembers who I am. I used to be really active on YouTube, and I had a video that I posted in high school that kind of went a little bit viral. I'm back, and I never really thought that I would be posting a video like this at all, by any means. But I saw a video on YouTube the other day by a YouTuber named Brooke McCarthy, and she kind of inspired me to go ahead and post my story. So I got the idea from her, and if you haven't seen it, I would suggest going to her page if you're also struggling with the same type of thing that I'll be talking about today. I'm not sure if anyone does remember me, but I lost my mom to suicide when I was 15 years old, and I had found her. I'm gonna try really hard not to cry. Well, when that happened, I ended up posting a My Secrets video on YouTube, and so today I feel like I want to tell the story of my mom and everything that happened prior to her taking her own life. I really, like I said, never thought I would post something like this, but after watching Brooke's video that she posted, I feel not alone anymore, because I felt like nobody else had gone through the same thing as me. I felt like I was grieving the wrong way. I felt like I was dealing with everything wrong. And then after I watched hers, I saw that me and her both kind of dealt with it the same way, grieved through it the same way, kind of like similar situations, a little bit different, but I just felt really connected and I felt less alone. So I thought that maybe if I posted my story, my mom's story, that maybe somebody else out there would also connect with it and not have to feel so alone, because it's a scary thing to go through and it's a very hard thing to go through. And I felt so alone for so long, and I just feel like nobody should have to feel alone with it. So I guess today I'm going to talk about major events leading up to her passing. I'm not going to go into extreme detail. Everybody already knows, if you watch my secret video, what actually happened, how she did it. So I guess I'll start with, my childhood. My parents got divorced when I was 2 years old. My mom had custody of us for the majority of those years. When I look back at my childhood, I have some like happy memories. Like, there was nothing really out of the ordinary there. So my mom has always dealt with depression and anxiety, all of that, her whole life, ever since like I knew her, since I came out the womb. But my childhood was pretty normal, I would say. Like, besides like the divorced parents and going from house to house, like it was a very happy childhood. My mom and I lived with my ex-stepdad for a lot of my childhood. My mom and my ex-stepdad got a divorce at the end of my 7th grade year, and so we moved in with my grandpa, who lived in a different school district, so I had to finish up the year where I was going to school, and then I switched school districts in 8th grade. Like, shit kind of hit the fan a little bit. I feel like I don't even really know. Like, this is gonna be so, like, sorry if you can't, like, it's very gonna be jumpy, because it's hard to talk about, really, and I don't know really what I should say and whatever. So you can tell my anxiety, which I got from my dear mother, is kicking in right now. At the end of my 8th grade year, my mom and I got a duplex. Then, like, she was a smoker. She smoked a lot of cigarettes, and she went in for like a test or something, and they found like a lump in her lungs. They thought she had lung cancer. The beginning of my freshman year, so in the fall, she had to go get lung surgery to remove whatever it was and see if it was, cancer. And so the surgery and like hospital stay was supposed to be a week and a half. She ended up staying in the hospital for, I think, a month and a half. Her lung collapsed like twice. She was put on like a lot of medication. My whole beginning of my freshman year was I would wake up and go to school, come home, my grandpa would drive me to the hospital, we'd stay there till like midnight, then I'd go home and like wake up and do it all over again. Like, I couldn't go to like football games, I couldn't go hang out with my friends, do anything like a normal 14 or 15-year-old would or should be doing. And that's like when I noticed things were like a little bit different with like me. And so then when she came home, really is when I noticed a very huge change. We moved back in with my grandpa because she couldn't work. It all just went downhill. So she missed my birthday that year because she was in the hospital. I remember that was like a little hard for me. She came home, and it was like at the holiday time, and Wow, guys. Woo! Mama did not raise a bitch. Let's keep going. So she came home and like I knew things were wrong, things were different. We were fighting a lot. That normal teenage angst with like your mom, but then it's like on top of it I was dealing with like taking care of her depression and her anxiety, and then she started getting paranoid. So like I knew my mom was not normal, and I'd have friends come over and she would just yell and scream and be crazy. I knew at that point that it wasn't my mom, because she had been like the sweetest human like all my life, and she loved me with every ounce of blood in her heart. It was just, I knew that something had happened where she just wasn't like herself anymore. We did not have a good relationship at this point. January 27th, 2011, the year that she did die. She passed away in October of that year, but in January 2011, I remember I woke up from school, or woke up to get ready for school, and I didn't feel good, so I stayed home. And then I just remember being woken up by my mom, and she like gave me a kiss on the forehead, and she said like, I love you. And of course I was like, hey, like get the hell out of my room, I'm trying to sleep, being a teenager. I went back to bed, and then I woke up to my phone ringing, and my aunt said, your mom is in the hospital. She tried to kill herself. So I got ready and I waited for my aunt to come, and like right after that I had an intervention with her, sat her down, and we were like, listen, like something's wrong, like you really need more help than what we can give you. So that night we brought her to a mental hospital. She stayed there for a month or so. Then again, the end of my freshman year-ish area was going to school, coming home, going to visit her, going to bed, waking up, the whole thing over and over again. And I couldn't tell anybody what was going on, because my mom had it in my head that if I were to tell anybody, I would be taken away from her. Like, please don't tell anybody. So I was basically essentially dealing with all of this like by myself. I was 15, like just by myself. My brother was the only other one besides my grandpa who knew. It was really hard. And then she came home before she was ready to come home. And like that summer after freshman year going into sophomore year was just absolute hell at my house. I was not allowed to go anywhere. I was not allowed to leave the house for more than like an hour, because my mom was scared that something was going to happen to me, that I was going to end up getting killed, or somebody was going to take me. That summer was terrible. I would wake up in the morning, and I would just wake up to her talking in her room. So I would be like, yo, like, what's up, mom? And she'd just be like, they're recording me, like, you have to whisper. Super like schizophrenic symptoms, and she would sit there and shred papers for hours. Obviously at that point I knew there was something very wrong with my mom, like extremely wrong with my mom. Basically, yeah, it was just a very bad summer, and a lot of things were said from her and a lot of things were said from me. And at that point I like hated her, and I was embarrassed of her. I didn't want to go anywhere with her. I'll just skip forward to now like the week that she had passed away. I thought that everything was getting better. Being nice, she's acting like normal. I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna like take it, run with it, because I haven't seen normal in forever. She passed away on a Wednesday, and that Sunday before, she's like, can we go to church? And like, we're not super, like, I grew up religious and stuff, but at that point, like, we weren't like going to church all the time. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go. So I went to church, and then I remember after the church service, she went to go light candles, and she sat there crying for a good 30 minutes or so, and she just was bawling her eyes out. Then afterward, it was a really good day. I just remember she like went and we were around the town, like she was like taking pictures of me, and we were like feeding the ducks, which we did all the time, like when she was like in the right state of mind. I was like, oh wow, like this is amazing. I remember on Wednesday I came home and was walking home, and you know, something just kind of felt off. Like I didn't really think anything of it, you know. So I went inside, and then she was like, Kaitlin, like, we have to go do laundry. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go to my friend's house. And she's like, no. And then we just started screaming at each other. She's like, we need to go do laundry and then go find your homecoming dress. Really the only thing like I said to her, and like the last thing I said to her, was that she embarrasses the living hell out of me, and that there's no way in hell I'd ever go get a dress with her, and that I hate her guts and never wanted to see her again. And then I slammed the door and left. That's something that I've been dealing with. You know, it kind of is shitty of me to have said that, but then again, I was dealing with a lot more than most 15-year-olds were dealing with, and I was just kind of fed up with it at that point. I went over to my friend's house down the road. An hour or so passed, and I say this to you, it's gonna sound extremely weird and you're not gonna understand it unless you've been through it. And she usually would like text me all the time, and like I didn't get a text at all. And so like then and there I looked at my friend Sam and I was like, she better not have killed herself. In that moment I like knew, like it's weird, like I can't even describe it. Like I knew but I didn't know. I went home and I was like, I'm gonna go home, Sam, like I'll talk to you later. So I walked home and I got inside, and as soon as I walked in the door I was like, something's wrong. Like I don't know, I couldn't like put up my finger on it. And I walked to go open my mom's bedroom door and it was locked. Her dog, who was literally her child, she would dress the thing, like she loved her so much, was just sitting outside of the door just like staring at it. I remember thinking like, fuck, something's wrong. So I went outside and I went to her window to look in, and she wasn't in there and the door was locked. And I was like I knew. It's weird, like I just knew. I felt inside me that she was gone. So I knew to go look in the woods. Over the woods, like my house was here and Jared's was here, and then there's woods right behind his house here, and so you can get to them that way, or you can go around the whole neighborhood and go in like the long way. And since I knew what I was most likely going to walk into, I went the long way. I walk in, and I'm just walking, and then I see her, and at that point I didn't know exactly like what. I just saw she was standing there, and so I'm screaming her name. I'm like, Mom, Mom, like, and she wasn't responding. And then I saw her. I've already posted before how like she hung herself. So, and I just remember I just started crying, and I just froze. And so then I ran back to my grandpa's house and told him what happened. And my uncle was there, and he told me I had to go back to show him where it was, where she was. So I ran back. The police officers came in, and the paramedics and the shock therapists, and talked to me, and then they left with her, and she was gone. That was really hard. It was weird because like it was a really sad and emotional day finding her. But then like, and it sounds really morbid and terrible, but like once I knew she was gone, like I almost had like a sense of like relief for her, not for me, but for her. I know she's in a better place now, and that's all that mattered to me, was that she was not suffering anymore, because I knew she was like suffering so bad. She was not herself. Anyway, wow. Whew. Mama didn't raise a bitch. Let's get these tears put away. So then the visitation and the funeral was that weekend. And then Monday I was like, all right, like, let's go back to school. And everyone's like, you sure? Like, are you good? And I'm like, oh yeah, like, let's do it. Like, I can't really do anything about it. What happened happened. I knew it was going to happen, so let's keep chugging along, which, let me tell you, was not a good idea. But it's what I did. It's how I grieved with it. I remember going to school and everybody just like stared at me. It was just weird because everybody knew what had happened, and I got bullied a lot through high school because of it. But I was back in school, and I pretty much repressed all of the pain in the back of my head, which is terrible. I was numb to it, which, just like Brooke McCarthy posted, like, she was so numb, and I completely understand that feeling that you had. Like, everyone was looking at me like, hello, your mom's dead. Why are you in school? Why are you laughing? Why are you hanging out with people? Like what? Is something wrong with you? Like, yeah, probably. But I mean, I just was like, all right, like, I can either sit here and mope and be sad, or I can just get on with my life and just try and make her proud. And you know, so that's what I did. I ran with it. So around senior year, I started feeling like the emotions coming back up. Like a year or so even after my graduation, I had like a huge mental breakdown, and like it was bad. Obviously I didn't try to do anything to hurt myself, but it was just like all the emotions were like just coming, and I felt it all, that I was like holding back for so many years. I mean, I was drinking a lot. I was partying all the time. It's just kind of how I guess I dealt with it, which is not a healthy way to deal with it. So don't do that if you can avoid it. Through all that healing or whatever, drinking and partying, I don't know, I somehow got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm drinking too much, I'm partying too much, like I need to like relax and I need to chill and like just deal with it. So this was about 7 years, because this was last fall, where I realized like I need to deal with my shit because I don't have my shit together. Stopped getting drunk, I started going to therapy, I started taking, you know, medication. And I never used to believe in therapy or medication because it never worked for my mom. But let me tell you, it works. So give it a try. You just have to find the right therapist, and you just have to find the right medication. And it's okay to be on medication, and it's okay to go to therapy. It doesn't make you any less of a person, because those are all things I thought prior to like feeling better. Now it is July of 2019. This October will make 8 years of my mom passing, and I am doing, for the most part, pretty good. I have a good job, I have an amazing boyfriend, I don't know if you can see him, but an amazing dog and 2 cats and amazing friends and amazing family, and I'm doing really good. I'm working through my shit. The thing is like the okay I feel now and the normal I feel now is a completely different baseline than what it was when my mom was here, if that makes sense. I'm never going to get over my mom passing. It's now manageable, I'd say. I have a lot more good days than I have bad days. And just like how I'm referencing Brooke McCarthy's video again, because I said I really relate to it. Like, the random days that you would not expect to be a bad day are a bad day, because like she said again, quote unquote, it's the days you don't expect because you never expect to not have her there. And that quote that you said, Brooke, like literally stuck in my head, because it's completely true. Like, I'll have a bad day at work, or I will go shopping and find a really cute outfit, or I'm having problems with my boyfriend, or we're really good in our relationship, or I'm having like medical issues or whatever, and like the first thing I want to do is just go talk to my mom about it, like, because I know she loved me so much and she would care so much, or she would be so proud of me, or she would be sad with me, or she would know exactly what to say. And those are the days that honestly are the worst. But also, holidays and birthdays fucking suck too. I am still going through this shit. Like, I'm still working through it, and I think I always will be working through it. But I'm in a lot better place now. I can like look in the mirror now and recognize myself. And again, it's a completely different normal than what I was before. I'm a different person now that I went through that. But I'm doing okay. So this is super long. This is the longest YouTube video I've ever made, and I'm sorry if it was all over the place. It was just really hard to like get out. But if you have any questions, if you want me to make any other kind of YouTube videos or anything like that, like, go ahead and comment. I want to start using my YouTube a lot more again, just because I like having the platform. I like being able to talk about things. I like to bring light to situations. I really want to take the stigma away from suicide and mental illnesses and stuff like that. Like, that's like been my goal since my mom passed away, and I have done a lot. I've done a lot of interviews. I was on Inside Edition in 17 magazine and stuff like that, but that was so long ago. It was like a lifetime ago. So here I am, grown up. I will be 24 this year, so it's been a long time, and I'm ready to do more with this. Now that I'm healed and healing and in the process, and I feel as if I'm more strong now than I ever have been. So I don't know, I just hope that one person could see this video and just like I saw Brooks and be like, yeah, like, I relate and I don't feel so alone, because there's so many people in this universe that have gone through something similar to what you've gone through, and it's just good to know that you're not alone. And if you are sad, or you are depressed, or you are thinking of committing suicide or anything of that, like, please go get help. Like, in the moment, I know you're not thinking about what you're leaving behind and the people that are gonna hurt for you, but there's so many people that care about you. Even if your mind is telling you that they don't care, they do. And I have felt like that. I have felt like nobody's cared about me before. I completely understand that part of it, and I know it is so hard to like just snap out of it and be like, all right, like, people care about me, my mind is not caring about me right now, and I need to go get help. Like, I've been there several times, so it's like, I know what you're feeling, and it's not just I'm just not a random stranger saying, hey, like, somebody loves you, like, da, da, da. No, like, I know what you're feeling, and I know, like, I personally know what it will feel like for the people that you leave behind. So if you need anything, don't hesitate to comment. Don't hesitate to get a hold of me, get a hold of somebody, anybody, like, anybody, because you are so worth it. You are so worth it. Like, you have a whole life ahead of you. Even if you're at your lowest point in your life right now and you think that nothing is worth it, I promise you, I can't say it enough, you are worth it. You are worth it. Just message me or comment or something, and I'll try anything I can do to help you. Because I honestly, my heart is just, I just want to hug everybody and squeeze the sad out of them. I just do. Anyway, all right, bye guys. Comment if you have any questions or if you have an idea of something you want me to do. Bye. Love you.